Okay, I'm going to talk about ONYX STORM. So if you have not read it, jump away now because I'm going to get into it. So last chance. Okay, I've had a week to process ONYX STORM and try and get my head around how I feel about this book. And I can honestly say that I have ebbed and flowed. Some days I'm like, it was great. It was amazing. I loved it so much. Rebecca took us back to that world and I loved everything. And other days I was like, damn, I don't think she brought Zayden this time. Like, didn't really hit quite like the others. Maybe not. The things I liked, I loved all the Easter egg answers that we got. Like, we got Garrick's second signet and confirmation that the marked ones have a second signet. So that was like mind blown, super exciting, and distance wielding, one of my favorite signet theories was around Violet being a distance wielder. So I'm so happy that we're going to see that in this book, and I really hope Garrick has. I'm hoping Imogen, we get her POV in the next book, because I cannot tell you how much I need the POVs of everyone that's going to have a romance, like Imogen, Sloane Dane. I need all those romances because I can't deal with Zayden and Violet, and it's probably going to be really depressing in the next book. So I'm going to need some other romances to keep me distracted. Arik, my baby Arik, he is my favorite. He's my favorite. I want to marry him and have 5 green-eyed babies. At this point, he is beautiful. Precognition. I'm so excited to find out all about Arik. He can, again, have his own book, because I just want to know what is going on with Arik, what this precog is like, how it's going to expand, what it's going to mean. It is so exciting. So he's going to be such a pivotal character in the next 2 books, and I'm so excited for that. When Riddick got stabbed by the chef, that was probably the biggest shock. I nearly just started bawling my eyes out. That was probably the most just emotional I got in this whole book, was that moment. Until we were like, oh, psych, it was just his jacket. He's okay. I mean, thank God, because Riddick was amazing in this book. Honestly, he half carried it, really did. He was so funny. We got so much Riddick. It was fabulous. This book would not be Imperium series without Riddick. Just wouldn't exist. And Broccoli was the best. That was, and Drake and Mira, and that another POV I need next book. Drake and Mira, I need that romance. I need life. That will sustain me. I need all these romances, but in real time, Rebecca. So, telling you here. What I liked and I didn't like, we got Zayden's mum, which I was living for. But my theory did not come true. She was not a venom queen like I was predicting. So that kind of went out the window. No, she's just a chocolate hoarding, living on an island with 2 kids and some asshole husband. It was a bit I was like, yay, we met his mum. And I was like, oh, she's not great. She seems to care about him, but she's just hoarding chocolate. It was weird, and it almost came across as pointless. It was what was the point of this? We kind of didn't, there was no growth there. We just met her. I feel like that was all we got on that particular island. But when they had the purple eyes, I was still initially ooh, are they venom? And they're just hiding out here. I'm still not completely letting go of that Queen Venom theory. Just FYI. I mean, that island did have bad vibes. Okay, it had bad vibes. So I'm still just gonna quietly hope that there's a bit more to it from the Venom perspective, but probably not. There were a number of characters that barely got a page in this book. Rhiannon, Sloane, Jacinia. Sawyer got a bit. There were just a lot of our primary characters that didn't get much airtime. Yes, there was a lot going on the islands, and that had them away from Basgiath, but we just didn't get to see them. And I kind of wanted, sometimes I still wanted that traditional story that we were getting, the year at Basgiath that we've generally got in the previous books. Not that I guess we didn't get that in Iron Flame because we were still in second year, but you know what I mean. And then there was Zayden and Violet. Now, the ending, yes, it blows your mind. It's all over the shop. I have no idea what's going on. Oh, I forgot to talk about the dragons. Oh my God, Sigale and... First of all, we barely get any Sigale. And that might be intentional because of the whole Zayden thing and the Venom thing and what's going on. But we get no Sigale. Does she even say a sentence? I think she maybe says 1 sentence in the whole book. And I'm just that's just heartbreaking, actually. Heartbreaking. Because one of the best things about this book has been the dragons. We got a lot of Bandana, which was fabulous. Violet is on her crusade to cure, Zayden, and she is becoming a leader, but not admitting that she's a leader. Oh no, I just choose the leaders, but I'm not a leader. It's yeah, you are. We know, just accept it. You've got all this power. You've got Taryn. Just accept your power. Taryn is pretty quiet initially, but then he does kind of ramp up a bit more as the book goes on. Thank God, because, you know, Taryn is Taryn. Like, he is literally the best side character in this whole book. So thank God we do get a reasonable amount of him. But again, could probably have had more. I think because we weren't getting the Segale, Taryn kind of in the quad kind of conversations that we have previous books, that did feel a sense of emptiness. Again, that might be fully intentional, but you did feel that missing from these books that the other ones had. It's taken me a while to figure out what annoyed me about this book, and I think it's Xaden. I think Xaden didn't play out like I was thinking he would. I was expecting more bad boy venom, like he was going to be more selfish. Yes, we saw him totally flick to the bad side a few times, which was probably the really good bits. But we saw a very puppy dog, lovey-dovey love all the time from Xaden. And I was like slightly icking at times. Like, I flicked spice scenes. Like, on my second read through, I'm like, yeah, I don't need to listen to this. Like, what? What? I don't do that. I'm not into it now. Like, so, I don't know, something's missing for me with Xaden. He's not the Xaden in the previous books. Yes, he's changed with being Venom, but I was hoping it was going to make him more villain, more morally grey, and it didn't. It was more just like, I want to marry you and make you a duchess, and it's like, that's awesome, but us girls, we want that, and we also don't want that. Like, eventually we want that, but we want to have to, like, work really hard to get there. I think when it comes to a whole story arc kind of, you know, how like the big epic cliffhangers and everything that you get in a book, I don't know if this book had that as much as Iron Flame and Fourth Wing did. I think they just didn't hit. Really, this book was about like Xaden going to the dark side, Xaden turning Venom. It was just his transition towards that and them just trying to find a cure the whole time. So I think that got a little long in the tooth at times. In saying that, what I absolutely love about Rebecca's writing and her books is that the second you read it, you are lost in this world. These characters are like your friends. I absorbed it. I had, especially first read, there were no moments where I was like, oh, I need to have a break. I could have just, if I'd not required sleep, I probably would have just done the whole thing in 24 hours, but I did require sleep, so it was slightly longer than that. But I really did enjoy the read. But on hindsight, yeah, the ending threw me a bit. I don't feel like I've been left with it. I mean, yes, we got obviously the big, like, she's married and we don't know what's happened to Xaden now and who's his Venom brother. We've got those questions, but I don't feel like I've got the same level of shock as I did in Iron Flame. But of course, those shocks are hard to come by because that was a pretty epic shock we got in that book. So those are my thoughts. I still absolutely loved it. Absolutely loved it. Had the best time. Always happy to be back in this world. But what are your thoughts? How did you feel about this book? What are your takeaways? Has anyone else had a week to process? How are you feeling about ONYX STORM?